I always love a good Champions League draw and Europa League draw. I know, United, Barcelona, Sarah. We'll get to that at some point.
Pararia Singh Derby.
Yeah, that's right. It is, isn't it?
It's been going on for months. Let's go.
But we can't waste any more time than we have to in that match, right? Europa League, right? There's Champions League to talk about here, all right? And let's go through each match here, okay? One by one, just quickly here. Club Brugge, Bruges. You've been through this before against Benfica.
This is actually, I think, a really good match.
Really
I think, you know what? Just really quickly, all these matches besides, maybe the City match, these are going to be great games. It's the first time where I'm actually looking at them and I'm like, this is pretty fair. This looks good. And this is going to be a really fair and even match. Brugge, finished second in their group. They did so well in their Champions League run. They were unbeaten for how long? Meanwhile, you have a Benfica side who have really come into their own. They scored
They're so good at home.
They're so good. So is Portugal. These Portuguese teams at home are different. And I think it's going to be it's going to be very even. But I think I'm giving Benfica the edge
I like
just
Benfica
because
too.
of.
You know, I have to remind myself, by the way, that no away goals. I forgot about that.
It's so strange, isn't it? Yeah.
Which changes everything. I mean, it was still exciting last season, but
so will it
that's
result in boring second legs? That's the question. We're going to find out. I don't like away goals. Never really have.
Yeah.
But for starters, it confuses the hell out of me.
Trying to explain it to somebody who doesn't want
someone. No, is a goal worth 2 now? No, it's not worth 2.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, it's draw.
Yeah.
It kind of is, yeah.
Shut up. Read the FIFA rules. Liverpool, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Woo! Biggie, Mikey. Biggie, yeah, of course. A rematch of last year's final where Real Madrid were fortunate to win.
I can't actually handle it today, James.
Looks at me with a smirk on his face.
Today? They were kind of fortunate.
No, it was a good game. It was a good game of football.
It wasn't that great, actually. From what I remember, it wasn't a great game.
No,
we were out of the rec room.
We were there.
Play.
It wasn't a great game.
And
I
maybe it was more exciting because the place was packed.
Yeah, the vibes were good. The vibes
cocktails
were good.
and, libations.
Thibaut Courtois coming up with some massive saves,
incredible.
actually.
Yeah, fortunate, see.
Fortunate, maybe.
Oh,
but
my
Thibaut
gosh.
Courtois is actually just a good goalie. I don't know. But no, I think this is actually fitting, just based on the fact that Liverpool haven't played well enough to honestly get a bye at this point, which is what I would consider if you get a smaller team, like Man City, essentially. This is going to be a test for Liverpool, and I think something that they need. On the other hand, Real Madrid, as Sarah is going to talk about likely, she did talk about it, it's going to be an out-of-form Liverpool side that Real Madrid's going up against. So I think they're going to have the upper hand there, and I got to give the edge to Real Madrid.
But when I joke around about Real Madrid, my point being, though, that they don't actually really impress this season, or even last season, week in and week out. They find ways to win games. They're always dominant in many, many ways, but they don't go, wow, look at this Real Madrid team. They're incredible.
I don't know. If you're watching some of these La Liga games, they're looking really
know James
good.
isn't. Come on.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not. But Albert brought this up. He made a really good point, saying that last year
they did have to fight. They crawled back every game. So far, they haven't had really much to worry about. They have been looking a lot better. And we've seen players like Vinny and Fede really coming into their own, which they weren't on that level last year. And now Federico Valverde is one of the best midfielders in the world right now in terms of his form.
Yeah, they brought in another strong center back as well, Antonio Rudiger.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
So I wanted to. This is
Who most
crazy.
are owned, by the way, in the Premier League.
This is true. Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid have knocked out Liverpool in 2018, 2020, 2021, and 2022.
They got your number.
That's incredible.
In that span, there was actually a Champions
There
League.
was a Champions League in there, yeah. A few finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time this happens, they could have new owners.
Yeah.
And they could have spent $1 billion in the transfer window.
This is
Good.
true.
This could
Right?
change
So,
everything.
yes, it could be a very different Liverpool team.
You know what your Liverpool or Real Madrid conundrum is? That's my Arsenal conundrum. Is that they'll perform, but I'm still not believing.
I can't.
Fine.
My whole life is an Arsenal conundrum.
Leipzig, Man City. You mentioned how they're fortunate getting a little tiny Leipzig, essentially, right? But that's
I
an
take it
interesting
back.
one,
I take
isn't
it
it,
back.
as well?
Man City always get an easy time.
No, but that's the thing. If you had to pick
Always.
out of these certain teams, Leipzig is probably one of the sides you would want. Not to take away from them, but when you have the likes of PSG, Bayern, Real, Liverpool,
sure.
you don't want to see one of them. So I do think, Man City do always have an easier.
City are minus 700 to qualify. Minus, it's like what they playing Southampton on a Saturday? No,
Because they have such great pedigree in the Champions League, don't they?
And no Timo Werner for Leipzig. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I think that's huge. But
That's big.
Leipzig's
Yeah.
always
For
a
now,
team.
anyway, he might be
They're always
ready
a
to go.
team. No matter, it'll be a close game. Like they'll find a way to make it scrappy.
I think the difference though is Erling Haaland.
Probably.
Like, I mean, that's the thing last year.
If you got a top goal scorer on Holling right now, it's looking pretty good.
Oh,
'cause he can-
geez.
Who knows? He can score 4.
Inter Milan Porto. This is a really
Great.
good matchup, isn't it? I'm looking forward to this one.
Porto to go through.
Stefan Estakio, let's go.
Mehdi
Yeah,
like
he's
he's
still
going to
there.
score 700. I honestly think
That's
I'm
true.
really happy for Porto here because I think they have a really good chance of going through. Inter have been, yeah, they beat Barca, but it's, half the clubs could beat Barca right now. Like
Manchester United.
Second in the league, though, aren't they? In the Liga, this great Spanish league that you.
it is a
spoke
great
about?
Spanish. You didn't watch El Gran Derby. He didn't watch El Gran Derby in the weekend.
El
James
Gran
doesn't
Derby.
I
watch
can't
La
even pronounce El Gran
Liga.
Derby, so
No, you don't watch it, but it is a great league, but it's just Barca's form against them. We're terrible. But Inter is still like, what, aren't they like 6th in the Serie A? Like they're not
really
doing,
poor campaign
yeah,
from them
they're
so far,
really
yeah,
not doing
absolutely.
well.
I
And
think
they have-
lots going to change in January as well with the transfer window.
Yeah.
And Premier League has the money.
not to mention this season as a whole. It's
Yeah.
gonna be it's gonna be a tale
Yeah.
of two halves this season.
Yeah,
because
who's
of the
going to be
World Cup.
injured?
Yeah,
Like that's the thing. We could see
I
a
know.
side. Oh, I can't
Is
even. think.
Lukaku going to be healthy by the time that match comes around? He's not healthy right now.
At this point, almost a non-factor. But
Yeah.
Dortmund, Chelsea. That's usual. Aubameyang against his former club there. Chelsea not looking good this past weekend, but this is 2 months away. It's
Yeah.
February. Maybe Potter's got them sorted by now. Dortmund are always a tough team to beat in the Champions League.
you think Bellingham gets sold in January?
That's what I'm thinking.
Not
like,
January.
Not January. But if he wants to drive that price up as much as possible,
Yeah.
at least for Dortmund, this is the time to do it. I'm not convinced here by Chelsea going through
I
here.
completely agree.
Yeah.
There's something about that.
Aubameyang and Pulisic are going back to face their former sides in
that's
Dortmund.
right.
That's right.
Storylines.
Yeah.
That's
The
right.
narrative.
Pulisic, assuming he's still there.
That's every transfer.
Chelsea,
window.
yeah, they look so flat against Arsenal.
Yeah,
I know they're missing a lot of players, but even Aubameyang, they just look dead. No, they kept
Aubameyang
talking
had
about.
like 12 touches. I
Yeah,
read.
12.
I know, but
oh.
I heard that too. But he's not a striker that gets many touches, right? He's not.
I think he's overrated. I think
He was
Aubameyang's
really poor yesterday. I
overrated.
thought.
He was poor,
He's
yeah.
invisible. Eintracht Frankfurt, Europa League champions against Napoli,
Love it.
who were the greatest team in the world up until this past week.
Yeah.
Liverpool beat them pretty handily. So who knows what they are by February?
Napoli.
Napoli for sure. Napoli was down this weekend to Atalanta, 3rd place in Serie A or 2nd, and they came back, scored 2 goals without Kvaratskhelia. Like Napoli right
Can you
now.
spell his name?
KVARASHKELIA.
You forgot
Is
the
that
T.
right?
I did forget the T. No,
So
I
you
spelled
can't spell it. You can't spell it.
Whatever. At least
I'm
I
not
can say
dismissing.
it.
I'm not
No.
dismissing Frankfurt.
We're doing a segment.
They just won
soon,
the
by the
Europa
way.
League.
I'm sorry to interrupt. And
Yeah.
we have a great conversation about Champions League, but we're doing a spelling bee soon.
Yes.
Room 442.
And player names.
I'm giving
player
you
names.
only Spanish names. Best of luck.
Oh, this is some good one.
That's a good one, though. PSG Bayern Munich is the one that stands out, of course. How much pressure is under PSG to do well in this year's tournament, to crash out in the round of 16, which is quite feasible in that they're playing Bayern Munich? Man, that must be, if you're a Paris Saint-Germain fan right now,
They have to win the Champions League at some point.
Do
Don't
they?
you think?
I don't know. The
This is-
money they spend,
Like
you'd
with
think
this
so, but-
core, or like eventually?
Yeah, period.
Like PSG has. Yeah, PSG
You
will
have
eventually win the
Messi at
Champions
this
League.
level. Look how Neymar's playing. Sergio Ramos is playing as well as he has been since he left Real Madrid.
It's
Donnarumma-
definitely the best time for PSG to make a
I mean, it's
run.
unfortunate to get Bayern, but it could be a
That's the
blessing in
thing.
disguise if they get through. They
Yeah.
don't have to face them later on.
I think this one, I know what you guys are saying with Bayern having the edge, but I think this is going to be like much, much closer because if Paris don't do it now, like there's no hope. There's no hope because that whole team is going to get dismantled likely by the end of the
and
season.
then maybe built properly.
But well,
they might win
maybe,
it.
but with that money, who knows?
See, we were talking about Man City in the billion-dollar club, and I don't know how close PSG are. They got to be close to that.
Well, I think so, yeah.
But it almost doesn't matter if you can't win the Champions League,
No.
especially in playing in the French league.
Well, for them, because at least Man City can say, okay, we failed in the Champions League, but we won the Premier League. Which has
Dominating.
got so much, currency in
Back-to-back
world
years.
football. Whereas Ligue 1, if you're PSG, you should be winning that, right?
Well, City have also had like a coach like Guardiola. Like PSG have had coaches coming in and out that
Good
haven't
coaches,
meshed. Good coaches, but a good coach might not be for every team. And when you have a team with all these superstars as well, how are you gonna, maintain these guys and their egos? I think like there's for sure EPL's better than Ligue 1, but I think also Pep is a little bit.
But look at the players that Pep doesn't have the ability to buy a Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe.
Oh,
That's the difference.
I don't know about that.
Man City has $1 billion squad.
Where's the comparison? Compare those three players to anyone on the City squad. Okay, they
I
got
mean-
Holland.
Yeah, but
they
look at
got
last
Holland on
year.
a cheap
But
deal.
What's Phil
they
Foden
have
worth
like
now?
3 players or 311.
Oh, he's got to be up there. But I'm saying they can't go. They're not going to go out and buy Neymar. They're not going to go out and buy players.
Yeah,
of this
but look
caliber.
at those 3 players. Okay, last year Messi was injured for a great part of the season. He wasn't playing well. He was also maybe a little emotionally distraught. Neymar was
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that's
horrible.
the difference
Mbappe was
between these two
leaving.
teams.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You look at these 3 players, and now they're all in check. They're all healthy. They're all playing together.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw last year when it was chaos at PSG. Is
Gauthier-
Mbappe going? Is
Gauthier
he staying?
obviously can
Yeah.
handle the egos, right? I mean,
Well, it looks like it. It's
very
great.
few of us can, but sometimes you have to.
But quickly, my point is that City and PSG both have the money, but City's built more like a football club.
That's a conscious decision.
PSG is like, let's get all these players and hopefully we win.
Yeah, because I think Pep and Tichy are the players, the guys at the top there who have built a team properly.
They make smart moves.
Whereas PSG, they're like throwing darts at a dart.
Yeah.
We did see Messi linked to City though. Like we did see it. Like I'm sure they have the.
Well, I mean, if
possibility to
Messi's
do it.
available and you're one of the teams who can afford him, you have to look at him, right?
Yeah.
I think he'd do okay at City if he was there.
Oof.
Milan, Spurs. Your Spurs. I remember the last time these guys met in Europe, and it was a big battle on the sidelines. Rino Gattuso
Yeah.
scrapping out with 75-year-old Joe Jordan. And you don't mess with Joe Jordan.
That feels like it was 50 years
Hard as
ago.
nails. A
Gareth
long time
Bale was
ago.
on the Spurs. Modric was on the Spurs.
Yeah, we always
Ibra
did
was
well.
on
We
Milan.
Spurs have always done well against Inter Milan. Others in Europe.
That's
Sorry,
good.
got me. Inter Milan, AC not so much. I don't know how to feel about this because I think Spurs might look slightly different after January. Conte was happy what he saw this past weekend, and apparently he's going to get more money for investment. Looks like wing backs and potentially defenders and
You're
midfielders.
saying Conte will still be there, is what you're saying.
He's got to be. We've had this conversation. He's going to be there.
He was whining again about
He
how
always-
he's
Yeah,
been
I don't
energized
know.
and used
This is
weekend.
what I've learned. I mean, last season after that Burnley game where he's basically like, I got to talk to the club, I'm going to leave. He did that 10 times over. So I'm like, oh, this is who he is.
Is it not annoying to have
It's
as a
so
manager?
annoying, especially when you
So
you watch
annoying.
them play and they play those the way they do in the first half, and then they come out in the second half. It's
Yeah.
You
unbelievable.
always let the girlfriend that keeps threatening to leave you. Keep threatening. Eventually, you got to say, okay.
You guys want him to leave, eh? You guys want him to leave.
He's fun for the league.
Don't
I love the
you?
guy. He's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, listen, we've got lots of months to prognosticate about these matchups. It's going to be a great Champions League round of 16 coming in February the 14th, Valentine's Day.
Oh, I love
that's
Valentine's Day.
nice. Yeah. What a great one to be.
Gotta cancel my
my wife
plans
will
with my
love watching those
girlfriend.
on Valentine's Day. She'll be really happy about that. All right. Thank you. Back again tomorrow.